Long ago, in the mountain kingdom of Solis, there lived a young prince named Kale. Though he was not yet crowned king, the people already spoke of his wisdom and compassion. Kale was known to walk among his people in disguise, listening to their concerns and learning their struggles. One day, a traveling merchant arrived at the palace, bringing news of a nearby kingdom in turmoil. The kingdom of Eldera, once a prosperous land, and was now plagued by famine. Its rivers had dried up, and its crops had withered. Worse, the people had turned against each other, blaming their misfortune on supposed curses and rivalries. King Roderick, Kale's father, was hesitant to intervene. "It is not our place to meddle in the affairs of others," he said. But Kale disagreed. "Father, if we ignore their plight, it may spill into our lands, and more importantly, it is our duty to help when we can." The king sighed. "If you believe so strongly, then you may go. But tread carefully, my son. Famine turns even the kindest heart desperate." Kale set out with a small group of advisors and provisions. When he arrived in Eldara, the suffering was worse than he had imagined. People fought over scraps of food, and the fields were barren. The ruling council was divided, each blaming the other for the crisis. Rather than impose solutions, Kale chose to listen. He visited farmers, merchants, and even beggars, gathering pieces of the story. He learned that Eldara's crisis was not the result of curses, but of neglect. The kingdom had overused its land and failed to prepare for droughts. At a council meeting, Kale addressed the leaders of Eldara. "Your land is not cursed," he said. "It is simply tired. But together we can heal it." He proposed a plan that required cooperation from everyone. First, the people would dig new irrigation canals to bring water from distant sources. Second, they would rotate their crops and plant trees to restore the soil. Finally, Kale offered to send Solis' experts to teach sustainable farming methods. But some leaders resisted. "Why should we listen to an outsider?" one scoffed. Kale responded with calm. "I'm not here to rule you, only to guide you. If my plan fails, I will bear the cost. But if it succeeds, your kingdom will prosper once more." With no better alternatives, the council reluctantly agreed. Kale rolled up his sleeves and worked alongside the people, digging canals and planting seeds. His humility and determination inspired others to follow his lead. Over time, the fields began to green again, and the rivers flowed once more. As Eldara recovered, its people saw Kale not as a foreign prince, but as a friend and ally. The council adopted his teachings, ensuring the land would be cared for in the future. When Kale returned to Solis, he was met with cheers and gratitude from his father. "You have proven that wisdom is not just knowing what to do, but inspiring others to believe in it," the king said. From that day forward, Prince Kale was known as the Peacemaker, a symbol of unity and wisdom across all the lands. His actions reminded everyone that true leadership comes not from commanding but from understanding.